Hi, this is 365801 and this is day 23 of the 25 days of manga. So as you can see from the thumbnail, this is the waifu or husbando category. As I mentioned before, this is quite a tricky one as someone who predominantly reads BL, because I personally do not ever really feel a massive connection to a character who is not going to be romantically involved with another character. So I never feel any kind of like, oh, I would really want to be with them. I don't really think that. I think that they're great characters. I love them very much. But the waifu and husbando thing is not really there. Love is an Illusion was one that I was looking at yesterday. Was it yesterday? And their bodies are fine. She draws very good anatomy, so I wouldn't mind having something of that. There's a few nice like Wild Rock, and I like Maya from Don't Be Cruel, but all of these characters very nice, but very loved up with their significant other, and I'm so happy that that is the case. That's kind of the whole point of being a BL fan. I also have my absolute favorite character is Misaki from Janjo Romantica, but he's my son. He is my baby. I need to take care of him and protect him and love him. So there's no attraction there for the love of that character. I did mention also yesterday that the older sister in Love's an Illusion is single and lonely. So the only real way that you can find characters in BL to attach yourself to in any way are the ones who try to break up the couple and fail. So usually it's a girl who, fancies one of them and wants to be in a relationship. Or it might be a guy who has come back from the past. So, as I said before, I'm doing mood reading, and the one that I was going to do is The World's Greatest First Love. So I started with volume 7. It actually took me ages to read through this because I've read it so much that I got a bit bored. And I kept falling asleep because I think I'm just tired. This has been a long 25 days. So yeah, I had to have snoozes. Had to stop for snoozes. And as I've said, I've read this a lot because this was released in 2012 in Japan, and I bought it originally in the shop because I was there. So I've read it in Japanese and I've read it in English. In my drawers just now I have volumes 3, volumes 5, and then I have volumes 7 through to volume 13. I think volume 14 will be out May, I think, something like that. So I have the rest of it, and some of them are still in the wrapping because I've read them in Japanese, so I've never really bothered to sit down and actually read through. So that's what I'd like to do tomorrow, tonight as well. I'll probably continue on, and then tomorrow as well. And so I might take my festive photo with some of The World's Greatest First Love. So from volume 8 onwards, I might do that. So when it comes to The World's Greatest First Love, are there any waifus or husbandos? Well, in this particular volume, it's the volume where Anchan finally sees Onodera with a look on his face that reminds her of when he was in love with someone in middle school. And she recognises that same look. And poor Anchan has always been of the mindset that one day her and Onodera would get together. And he has been very clear that is not the case. And it becomes even more clear when she recognises, oh, he is still in love with that same person that he was in love with back in the day. And so there's no place for me. And she says good luck, which is so lovely and so sweet. She's actually just a really great character. I love Anchan. She's dead cute. She's dead sweet. She has fantastic wardrobe. I love all the clothes she wears. She's got great hair. And she's just an all-round nice person. So An-chan would be the waifu that you could maybe have from the world's greatest first love. Because she's been in training to be a waifu. You know, it's that whole thing of Onodera taking over the business and, you know, being ingratiated with the family as a family friend and being chosen as the fiancée from a young age. So she has been a waifu in training. So she is waifu material for sure. And she's just a sweetheart. She really is. She's lovely. And she's a bit heartbroken, but you know, that's the perfect time to swoop in. There is another character in The World's Greatest First Love that is single as far as I know. And I think that's Mino-san, who works in Emerald Department. Because the rest of the guys in the department are all loved up. So he's the only single one. He does have his nephew, as I recall. I can't quite remember because I haven't read it in English yet. I've only ever read it in Japanese. So yeah, I think, is it Mino-san? And yeah, he's single. So yeah, he'd be the only husbando material in The World's Greatest First Love. But I don't know, he seems a bit suspicious. So when it comes to waifus and husbandos, you won't necessarily find a great many possible ones in BL. Ones that are not loved up and partnered up with others. And as I've said, that's not really my thing. So, yep. Can anyone please think of a husbando? Someone who is... Well, I know there is another character in The World's Greatest First Love that comes up. Well, there's a couple, isn't there? One is the, like, bad guy. Who used to work at... What is it? The monthly magazine that Takano used to be employed at. And he comes and he tries to stir things up. I can't remember his name. I want to say Haitani or something like that. Anyway, and then of course there's, is it you from the other couple? And I'm not sure, does he end up with someone? I think there was talk of him being partnered up with someone else. But I don't know because I haven't got to the latest volumes yet. So, yeah, there's not much of the husbando material in most BL. So that's the question, are there any characters that you're like 100% husbando material, but also are single and not loved up in any of the series? Who is your BL husbando? I kind of want to know, because most of the characters... Of course, if I do have to talk about someone who does not have a partner, I am going to have to go with Satoshi from last year's 25 Days of Manga. I read Rude and Unsophisticated by Tenzen Momoko? Tenzen? And poor Satoshi, he got nothing. He got no one in the end. So he would be my husbando. He would be my ultimate choice. I feel really sorry for him. Pity's not really enough for a relationship to start, is it? Anyway, the whole waifu and husbando thing didn't really, as a category, do anything for me, because I don't ever see myself with any characters. I like looking at things, and I look at them respectfully from a distance. But no, this is not a category for me, I don't think. So, but this is what I read anyway for today. There is one point that I need to make, one last point about this volume, which was published in 2017. And this is something that I'm coming to the end of the year, and it's come up a few times actually. And I hate having to discuss this because it's really annoying, but also it's the many, many times that it's come up this year. I think it's around 3 or 4 actually. This is obviously story and art by Shungiku Nakamura. This is a Sublime title, and unfortunately it's the Sublime titles that it's coming up with. And it is an Adrian Beck translation, and I think she may have been translating some of the other ones that I've mentioned this with. There is the use of a word in this particular volume. It's near the beginning, and it's the same word that has come up time and time again. And so I know that in American English, this word may not be deemed as offensive as it certainly is in British English. And once again, it was used. And every time it's used, it takes me right out the story. And you know what? It just gets me angry. I get really angry when I see that word because it is so offensive. It's discriminatory. It's ableist. It's so bad. It's so wrong. And all it would take was for one person to read through and say, you know what? That's a choice. How about we don't make that choice? How about we choose a completely different word that means exactly the same? That won't offend a huge range of people. You know, publishers who are looking for the widest possible audience, the widest possible customer base, should not be including words that are going to be offensive to their customers. A sensitivity reader, when it comes to ableist language, might be able to pick that up and say, you know what, hey, you know all the people who are in Britain, they certainly don't like that phrase. And you know what, there's actually quite a lot of Americans who don't like it as well. So could we stop using that word, please? That is a really big call out. If I come across that particular word in some of their newer prints from 2020 or 2021, I'm going to call them out on it now. I'm just going to be like, hey, Sublime, could you just not? Every single time I see it from their newer prints. Because I did it a couple of weeks ago when one of the anime distributors, they announced fairly recently that they were going to be producing a work that loads of people were really excited about, an old anime, and they're going to be bringing it to the masses. Brilliant. But they used the same word in their press release. I don't want to see that. No one wants to see that. So I mentioned it to them like, hey, maybe choose not to use that word from now on in press releases because it's actually offensive in British English. And they were nice as pie about it. They were like, we're really sorry. We will do everything not to use that word again. Thanks for letting us know. And that's what you like to see. I really, really like to see companies owning up to, you know, basically it's a mistake in terms of their choice. They could have chosen a different word. And the same thing again happened with this volume 7. But this is from 2017. So, you know, I've read it before and obviously just skipped past it going, ugh, that was a bad choice. But the more I've read it recently, the more I've come to be a lot more angry about it. You know, it's 2020 coming into 2021. Enough's enough. I don't want to see that. No one needs to see that. I don't want to see something that is offensive to me in a BL manga. It's BL. Mostly everything else is fine. But really, that choice of word just irks me. So that's me. Oh, that's me down off my high horse. That's me down off my soapbox. If you know what I'm talking about, have a wee look in your volume 7. See if you can find the word. See if it is offensive to you. Maybe you don't even, you know, blink. Maybe you're just like, what on earth is she even talking about? If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, then you don't. But that is has become very real to me this past year, that I think that particular word should not have any place in Sublime manga anymore. So can we stop using it? So it does seem to be, I don't want to say it, but there many of the translations are Adrian Beck's. So maybe it's just a choice of the translator. Maybe it's a choice of the publisher. There are more than one person working on this. So there'll be more than one person reading through it and checking it and saying, hey, that's okay. So yeah, it's a choice, but it's, as far as I'm concerned, the wrong choice. That's me. Right, I'm definitely off my high horse now. I did enjoy reading it when I was awake, but as I've said, I was tired today, so I didn't get anywhere near as much done as I was going to. Yesterday, I think, was too emotional for me. It was a very emotional day yesterday. So, as I said, getting really tired and really ready to not do this Vlogmas thing anymore. Okay, so tomorrow I will read some more of The World's Greatest First Love, and I'll probably do a festive photo for it. So we'll see that. Look forward to that one. I am looking forward to reading the rest of this series from 7 through to 13. So let's see how much I can get done for tomorrow. Remember, guys, every day's a BL day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.